Welcome back to Terrific Taste. On the menu today, coconut curry whitefish. So for this, we're going to start off with our vegetables. We're just going to start off doing a simple julienne of our white onions. I'm going to take a half of a slice of onion, half of a whole onion, and slice and julienne this. Put it in a bowl, reserve it for my next step. For the jalapenos, I'm using one red and one green. I'm just going to slice these kind of on a bias, but thin strips. Again, I really want them to take off and show themselves in this dish. I want the spice, and I definitely want the color. So I'm gonna, you'll see what I do with these later. Quick saute with them, and I'll leave some for garnish outside of the stew, outside of the dish as well as I garnish with it. For the ginger, you're going to see a familiar sight. I'm just going to use this. I want the skin on it. Again, I like the setup, and I really do like the taste. It does add to me, it adds to the robustness of the ginger when I do it this way. So now you're going to see me just cut it thin, but I want to leave that skin on. Again, really does make a difference to me in the final product. Now I'm going to just take a lime, and I'm just going to cut that lime directly in half. What I'm going to do is squeeze this at the end just to get the juice out of it. I don't want, I'm not going to put it in the curry at all, because then I'll get the bitterness of the outside of the skin of that ginger. I just cut lime rather. I just cut the cilantro, rough cut on that. I'm just removing the tops off of my green onions, and I'm going to slice my green onions as well. So as you can see, a whole lot of parts to this dish. This is an Indian dish, but delicious, aromatic, beautiful, tasty. And there I go with my slice of my green onions. And last but not least, I saved my protein for last, so I don't have to change the cutting board. I'm just taking this is codfish, it's already packaged. I'm just taking the cod directly out of the package, and I'm gonna cut it in half, and then in little bite-sized portions, I suppose is what I'd call them. This is rather thin cod, it's cod fillet. And I'm just, as you see right there, real quick, simple and easy cut. I'm not even going to bother marinating this, because it's going to take on the flavors. Because it's so thin, it's going to take on the flavors of the rest of the dish almost immediately. So I'm just going to, and I'm going with 2 little pieces of this. Again, this is more than a portion's worth. This is a couple of days worth. And like any of these things that have a lot of different ingredients to them, and certainly curry and turmeric, always best eaten on the second day is fish, so you don't want to save it for 3-4 days, but 2 days is good enough. Or you can always use it and then freeze whatever you haven't used, and then just heat that back up. That'll last a while longer in the freezer, obviously, but you want to eat it, you want to cook it once it comes out of the freezer. You want to just cook it to heat it up, and not let it thaw out or anything like that. Just cook it directly, heat it up, and then serve it as it is once it gets up to temp. And that's that. As you could already see, I just added my ingredients to a single bowl. Now I'm going to go one by one out of that bowl and just start the cooking process. I start with my saute pan, adding a couple of tablespoons of oil in it to get it nice and heated. And then I'm going to go with my onions and my ginger first, and then you'll see me add the other things in stages shortly thereafter. So as you see, once the pan's heated, in go my onions. I'm just being meticulous about this and picking my ingredients by hand out that I want. And I'm going straight with my ginger now. And I'll throw that in the pan. And then I just want to start to agitate the pan so that nothing sticks, so that oil spreads around, so that I get the essence of all those things in the pan, because the pan is what's going to flavor. The ingredients help it, but the pan is what's going to flavor the whole dish. So I want to get everything around that pan and make sure that I get all those flavors together, and so that they're not sticking, so I can roll with the rest of this recipe. Now you'll see me scoop out my garlic. I throw my garlic immediately into that pan so that it can start to caramelize and brown to impart flavor and the rest of those things as well. Agitate the pan a little bit, do my little flippy thing with the fire coming out. It's not that it helps, it just helps it not to stick. I'm going with those tongs. Again, these tongs, the tongs that I have in my hand, you will see these guys because that's another pair that we're gonna send you, the little tongs that you can use as you're cooking, if you're in a cooking club. So again, make sure you're abreast to what's going on so that you know and you can take advantage of some of the things that we have to offer. I'm going in with my peppers now. I'm just trying to separate. I didn't do the greatest cut on those apparently because there's still some stuck together. So I'm just trying to separate those before I throw them in the pan. Again, once you use your peppers, if you're gonna use them in that way, make sure that once you finish, change that glove, take it off, because if you scratch yourself or touch your face, anything with your eyes, it's going to be a problem for you later on. So you want to make sure you change that glove. You saw that I went ahead and took it off. I still have my other glove on, but I took that off because I want to make sure that I don't scratch my face with it. I just added the fish to it, and I don't want this fish to stick, so I'm just making sure I take a little pan and scoop underneath it. And then I'm going to add my peppers and the rest of those ingredients, and you'll see that coming up shortly. I want to give a quick scorch to those guys, and because I don't want them to cook all the way as the saute. I'm going to let them cook in the curry, in the coconut curry, and you'll see that part coming next. So just as I said, my coconut milk, I'm going to use the whole can in this case. You can use half the can. What you'll notice sometimes is the coconut kind of separates. You'll see the pulp, and then you see the coconut water come out. That's not a big deal, and it doesn't mean the coconut's gone bad. It just naturally separates. And all you got to do is heat it back up to combine it, and it'll be fine. But I wouldn't worry about, not if it's a dented can. Of course, you don't want to use the dented can. You want to take it back and get your money back for it and get them to replace that can. But if it's no problem with it, this oftentimes happens with, it should happen with real coconut anyway. So don't worry about it. Just heat it, reduce it, and do what you got to do to get the rest of it out. In this case, I just take my can and I'm done. This is all of that juice came out in one fell shot. So I'm good to go from here. I'm going to season this using my tongs to kind of move that big lump around to try to get that to reduce a little quicker. I'm going to add my seasonings to this now, and then I'm going to finish it in the oven for a couple of minutes as well. So in no particular order, I'm going to add in this case, I add my paprika first. I add my turmeric, and then I add my curry. It does not matter which way you add these things. Just whichever one you feel comfortable with, whichever one's closest to you, just add them. And then you're gonna stir it around, add your salt and pepper to this, and then finish it directly in the oven. I don't want to finish this on top of the oven because it's that direct heat that could overcook my fish. So I just want to take this, smooth it out, throw it in the oven for a couple of minutes, and by a couple of minutes I literally mean no more than like 5 minutes. Oven set to 350 degrees. I don't want to put it on the bottom. I kind of want to put it right in the middle, because again, I don't want that direct contact with heat, because I don't want to overcook my fish, and I don't want to overcook my vegetables in this dish as well. I'm squeezing my lime directly over it. Again, I don't want you to put that lime peel in there. Some dishes you do, but you'll really taste that sour taste of the outside of that the skin, the outside of the lemon, or the lime rather, and that's not what you want. So I'm adding my salt to this, and then you're gonna see me finish in the oven. And finally, as I threatened so many times, into the oven this goes to finish. 5 minutes tops, that's it. Out it comes. I'm just gonna shake it to make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom of my pan. And I'm gonna add this whole dish. I made one portion of this. This is a huge portion, so it's literally two. But again, for purposes of presentation for this, I just kind of want to show it in its plentiful form. I am going to then take my lime, squeeze it on top. Again, I'm not going to add this or lime to it. I'm going to garnish shortly. I'm going to add a little bit of the chopped carrots, and that is my garnish. It has enough colors in it already. I could add a couple of peppers on top just to bring out some more colors, but that's enough color for me. I'd add a little cilantro around this as garnish as well. But you're pretty much done. As you see, I'm a neat freak. I like to clean up my little surface areas. But that's it. Coconut curry whitefish. Awesome dish. Beautiful dish. Aromatic, tasty, yummy. Again, thank you for joining us. See you soon.